Hey guys, it's Eric from Big E's Car Garage. Sorry I hadn't been to you in a little bit. It's been a lot going on with the new year and everything. Again, Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you 2022 is off to a good start. Uh, hadn't been much progress with Darkhorse lately. My brother and I, we've talked about getting back to the track, although that seems to be hard to do. We will make a plan to get there. There's not really been a lot done to Darkhorse. I've had it out and driven it a few times. So I will talk a little bit about what 2022 holds, and we'll also talk about a little bit of racing also. One of the things I would like to do is take the star wheels off and actually go with a set of wheels. That may be on the list for me to do. The other thing that I had intended to do was I had already talked to my good friends up at HPP Racing in Garland. I had got a price quote on rebuilding a new 4.26 liter V8 with an all new bottom end, strong internals, going back with my cam and supercharger. I was looking to hopefully make around 700 to 800 horsepower. Now, of course, that goes, there's a couple of different options that we've got there. I thought about just rebuilding this motor or putting a new one in and going back with the supercharged setup, or possibly a Coyote swap with either a single or twin turbo. That would probably get me more around the 800 mark, if not a little bit more. But right now, the tipping point we're at is I'm at 400 horsepower now. The track is running, or the car is running low eights. So we're actually doing pretty good. But, as any racer, we always want to go faster, and it's time to, take the next steps to do that. We're kind of limited right now because the car is safe as it is at 400 horsepower. I don't have to worry about snapping axles or really any kind of failure, knock on wood. I know a lot of guys push these 4.62 valves, a lot harder. I like to stay within the limits, and I think that's what my tuner Manny has done as well. He's did a good job on this car, and we've talked about maybe going to an E85 swap with the same setup. But of course, if I put a new fully built 4.62 valve in it and either go with turbo or a supercharger, the plan is to do a meth injection on that. So again, we're talking more horsepower. Of course, I tell people, with a race car, it's not all about the motor and what you spend on it. A lot of your cost and time and research comes into those items that support that horsepower. Of course, as racers, we all know, and car enthusiasts as well, you can't just throw a 1,000 horsepower engine in a stock car and expect everything to hold up. You'll drop drive shafts, just a whole lot of stuff. I mean, if you want to see problems, try and do that. So of course, the more horsepower you make, you have to build a car around it to support that. That's anything from chassis braces, upgraded drive shafts such as aluminum, a drive shaft loop. You got to make sure your gears and axles can hold up. Also, you got to make sure, number one, making sure your transmission can support that power. So there's a lot that goes into it. But again, as a race car driver and builder, you always want to know that, whatever you do will probably carry over to your next steps. I just look at it, and me looking at it from a cost standpoint, I always want to do something to the car that can carry over, because the last thing I want to do is spend a ton of money on a part and get to my next step of the build, and I've got to take that off, and I've got $3,000 or $4,000 worth of useless parts laying around. Of course, unless I sell those and put it back into the car. But nevertheless, that's the plan. Like I said, we'll probably start getting to the track here pretty soon. Again, I don't know when I'm going to pull the trigger as far as taking this 2-valve out and putting a new one in, or if I want to do the Coyote swap. But nevertheless, in order to make more power, that's what we're going to have to do. Just a little bit in the racing world, I've still been keeping up a little bit with Street Outlaws. I saw that JJ and Trisha had the wreck, and thank God, they're okay. I see these guys, the 405 is back at it. We also have America's List going on and Fastest in America. The cool thing is I see a lot of these guys, they've already got their new cars. I noticed Jake Blaine from Team Detroit. He looks like he's running a Corvette now that he's still not quite finished with yet, but he has had it out on the streets. It looks like Bodie has another car. several of these guys. I know Eric Bain is still driving Boosted Ego, which, he's a local guy, so I'm always going to be behind him. The Oklahoma guys, Ryan Martin, you can't give anything up on him. I mean, he just seems like a great guy with a good attitude. He's always willing to help. And we got to say, I mean, the Fireball Camaro is fast. I mean, he puts the time in. Chief, the Crow, he's definitely running exceptional. I mean, he looks really good. A lot of these guys, and it's good to see Lutz back out there after his wreck. I mean, I think he's confident again and he's ready to go. So I've been keeping up with that a little bit. Other than work that's just keeping me busy. I'm always trying to stay in tune with what's going on in the street racing world, the drag racing world, and of course, my pride and joy behind me, Darkhorse, which again, we've got some plans for 22 for it. I've just got to pull the trigger and get started. Outside of that, the weather here is nice. I may actually get it out today and take it for a drive. A couple of little minor things that I do need to check on. I know my transmission temperature sensor. Has anybody ever had the issue with the Excel transmission temperature sensors? After you drive the car for probably 5 or 10 minutes, the temperature hand goes, full right to about 220 degrees. And I know no way the transmission is that hot in that time. So I'll crawl up under the car, check and make sure, that the sensor is grounded well. Other than that, I know it's wired up right because I've double and triple checked it. So I don't think that's an issue. The only other things, like I say, is just, I try to keep the car clean. I thought about actually going with a Hurst shifter in it. My car is an automatic. I've not done that yet. A lot of times it's not always about making the car fast. You also want to enjoy it and, what you're doing to it. So, of course, I like those little cosmetic details. So, another one of the plans that should have happened last year that will happen this year, I do plan to go with some race seats in the front. As well as the harnesses and probably, possibly a 6-point roll bar. If not, just a small roll bar behind the seats, like I said, that will hold my harnesses. I just want to continue to give the car that race look. Outside of that, like I say, it's just, not a lot going on, just trying to make some plans for the car. Get it back to the track, and just make those upgrades. And of course, anytime I do something to the car, I will be doing a follow-up video just telling you guys what was done, give you a little quick review on it. So, again, I apologize. It's been a long time, and, I wanted to get out here today on this nice day, actually, as I sit here in my garage, make this video for you guys just to give you an update of what's been going on with me and the car. A little bit of news in the race world. I will say too, speaking of the Street Outlaws, so the No Prep Kings, we here in Texas will actually be having a round also that's coming up in Houston, Texas. So my brother and I are probably gonna try and make that trip, maybe just drive down and make a weekend of it. We really enjoyed the one last year here in Ennis. It was a lot of fun. Got to see a lot of, just about all of these guys that we see on TV, and really just get to see the cars close up, which was a lot of fun. Of course, we're always out there taking videos, taking pictures, and just making notes, and getting ideas. So that's good to see. It's always good to hang out with him. We run into some of our friends there, and it's just good to see guys getting together and enjoying cars. And, it just really doesn't matter what type of car event it is, whether it's car racing, NASCAR, drag racing. I love off-road racing. All of it. If it has 4 wheels or wheels in general, I've always been about it. So anyway, again, hope you guys are having a happy 2022 year and it's off to a good start. If you hadn't already, hit that like and subscribe button. And once again, this is Eric from Big E's Car Garage coming at you. Hope you guys get out there and enjoy your day and make it count. Have a good one.